Jesus dies, resurrects, and ascends by 34 AD. Some people say Paul's experience was 1 year later, could be 3 years later, so there could be more time than that. But to try to fit everything in, a lot of people say it's 35 AD, and that's what this is taking. So the chronology of Acts and the Epistles is the chronological list we're looking at, and it's also called the timeline of the Apostle Paul. So this is the reference. But after that point is 14 years of mystery. Paul says in Galatians he went to Arabia. So he had a single visit to Jerusalem. And so in the first 3 years of his experience, he spent a little time in Jerusalem. I think he said it was 2 weeks, and he spent just a couple of days with Peter and met just the only other apostle he met was James, the brother of the Lord. And that's how he described James at the time. But that was it. And that was his only interchange with the 12. And then for 14 years, he goes to Arabia, where nobody knows precisely what he's doing, but I have explanation of what I think he's doing if we get into that. The interesting thing is that in Acts 9, the only thing we know in the entire event, other than his account of the Damascus Road experience, is he claims in Acts 22, he's giving testimony that what he first did is he decided he would rush to go see the 12. He was in the temple, and his Jesus met him in a trance, so a vision in his head, and said, you better leave here. They won't believe you met me. That's in Acts 22. And that's very strange that Paul's all the way in the temple. He's praying. There's always been one apostle outside the temple preaching for a long period of time since the crucifixion and the ascension. So they're there, always having a representative. That was their mention in the early church writings. So Paul's only 25 yards away from one of the 12 outside, and his Jesus says, no, you must leave here now. They will not believe you met me. And this is a very strange statement, don't you think? Because if Paul could have had a vision of Jesus coming down from heaven in a great big light with men with him, seeing the light, hearing the voice, why couldn't Jesus just say, Paul, don't worry about it. I'll stand, I'll walk in front of you. I'll go talk to Andrew outside, or Peter, or whoever the apostle was that day. But his Jesus somehow doesn't have any power to do what he was able to do with Paul, but he somehow has lost the power 2 weeks later because now we're at the temple of Jerusalem. So this is a very incongruous and basically counterfactual type statement, meaning if what you said was true, Paul, about what happened on the road to Damascus, you should have had a Jesus who could literally, come down on earth and come out and talk to them to make them accept you. Now, the interesting thing is, so I'm telling you, this is the only fact we know that Paul gives an account in that 3 year period, how we can understand what he's doing, okay?